The paradox of control and why trying to control the market is holding you back. There's a psychological trap that people fall into of trying to control things in the market. Surrendering that need for control actually leads to more success. And it's kind of counterintuitive, but it's very powerful. It's about understanding the deeper relationship between effort and surrender. So as traders, we often fall into an illusion of control, and we fall into this trap that we can control the market. We might go on a good run of predicting a few moves here and there, and then we think that we can control it. We think if we analyze enough, if we just work harder, we can get every single fucking move and avoid every single loss, which is most likely always not the case. The market's pretty chaotic. There's a lot of uncertainty, and it's very complex. The illusion of control is just a psychological bias that leads to overtrading, overanalysis, and emotional burnout, which I've experienced all of these. And especially emotional burnout was a big one, because you would take a loss and you know that there's losses in trading, but you might be, 1% away from losing a funded account, and you take the loss and then you lose the funded account. And you're so emotionally attached to this trade specifically because funded accounts have given you a bad perspective on what drawdown is, which is probably something that I'll touch on in another video. But it's given you basically a false narrative, a false belief that 10% drawdown is a bad thing. So emotional burnout leads to you stressing about things that you can't control. And if you have that burnout from a funded account and you've put so much emotional attachment to that funded account and passing this funded account, then you're just going to fall into a cycle of putting funded accounts on a pedestal, and that's a whole nother thing. But over-analysis as well, paralysis by analysis, where you're so focused on every fine little detail that you miss something so obvious, which is again, all of these, I've experienced all of these. And looking back on it, I never knew that I was in that position. I never knew that I was overtrading because I thought I had control. I thought I had complete control. And I was overtrading, giving back my wins, giving back everything. Every profit I made for the month, gave it back. And overanalysis as well. You're marking out everything, maybe too much. You're marking out too much. And then that just leads to you thinking, you might have two contradicting ideas, and then you might be thinking, but this is this, but this is this, and then this is this, and then you just get confused, right? And from the previous video, or I'm not sure when I put this video out. I haven't put it out yet. But it's about the amygdala and the brain's fear response center. I might put this one out first instead. Anyway, it's deep rooted in your brain to have that need for control. And it's the brain's fear center where the market might go against you, and your amygdala gets feared, and then that triggers that stress response, and then it pushes you to seek more control so you don't fail. But the paradox is, the more you try and control that, the more stressed you become and the worse your decisions get. Because when that amygdala is activated, it hijacks that prefrontal cortex, which is your decision-making part of the brain. Your amygdala, being the emotional part of the brain, takes over, and we don't want to trade from emotion. Big no-no, right? And the solution is to strengthen that prefrontal cortex, which can be difficult. That's the part of the brain that is responsible for that logic and the self-control. And how do we do that? By letting go of this control. And the power of surrendering this control, is where we bring in those concepts of focusing on processes over outcomes. You can't control whether the trade will win or lose, but you can control the risk management, you can control your entry and your emotional state. Right? You might have a 40% win rate, so the loss will just fall on the other side of the probability. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with taking a loss. Unless you're taking like 100 losses in a row, then you might need to look at something. But again, setting clear rules as well, defining your trading plan, defining every detail, but again, not trying to fall into this over-analysis paralysis mindset. Practicing meditation, like just stare at a wall for 10 minutes with no music, no nothing, just lock your phone in another room, lock yourself in your room, and embrace that uncertainty, and just keep reminding yourself that the market is unpredictable, and that's okay. That's fine. Uncertainty is where opportunity is, and opportunity lies. And in Taoism, there's a concept called Wu Wei, often translated as effortless action. It's the idea that by aligning yourself with the natural flow of the universe, you can achieve more by doing less. Again, less is more. Right? I just fucking repeat myself every fucking video. There's almost no point. I remember I used to trade in advanced way of smart money concepts. I've probably talked about this before. And I used to think it was the golden strategy. I hit 80 RR in one day and thought, like, fuck, I am the best trader. I thought I could honestly predict every big move in the market. And I was very, very arrogant to think that. But I can recognize that now. But at the time, I was very... It's funny, like I hit 80 RR, but I'm still in drawdown. I'm sure some of you are in that. In that phase as well. And it's a weird one because you think you're doing everything right, but you're probably not. So what I'm trying to say is, when you let go, when you surrender to the flow, you gain true mastery. That's it. That is it.